Hi there, this is Yikes. I was just working on some cosplay for ASEN, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing, and I've sort of been messing around with applique again, only this time on chiffon, and I just wanted to share what I was doing in case any of you other people might find it useful. Basically, I'm making sort of semi-transparent applique like this. And I don't know if you can see how transparent it is, but both layers are different layers of transparency. They're just two layers of silk chiffon on top of each other, and I've used a water-soluble interfacing so that it remains flexible. It can be crumpled up, it can be really flowy. So in case anybody else is interested in doing something like this, I thought I would just share what I was doing so far. So here we go. Again, so here is the applique. You can see it kind of close up. I've just used some satin stitching here. It's not as neat as my other work, but I mean, for sewing on something that tends to be really slippery, I think it's a pretty good first try. But what I've used for this is Pellon Sol-U-Film Lite. I don't know if that can be in focus or not, but basically it's just a water-soluble polymer, and on the back it said that you can sort of make an adhesive out of it by dissolving some of it in water, which I have here. This recommends that you use like a yard of the Sol-U-Film in 8 ounces of water, but I found that actually if you make a mixture that thin, you'll end up, it'll sort of end up losing its potency after a couple minutes after you dissolve, so you have to use the mixture really quickly. So this mixture that I have here is probably 2 to 3 times that amount of Sol-U-Film in water, so 2 to 3 times that concentration that they recommend there. And that gives sort of a thick, viscous paste that you can sort of use as an adhesive. And then the other thing is just I'm using regular wax paper because I find that when you paint this stuff on, it can be kind of indiscriminatory about what exactly it's going to stick to. So I have the wax paper here just to help keep it from sticking to as many things as possible. So here I have a blank thing that I've serged on the side, so you can see a little tail here. Kind of messed up there, but that's okay, I'll trim it out. And I've got my iron here, which is just a little dinky Target iron. It doesn't have any water in it, which is important. You want to use dry heat on this. And then I have my piece of applique, which I'm going to put on there, so that's already cut out. The last thing that I have that I didn't realize was going to be so useful was actually my muslin mock-up for this pattern, where, you know, I just sort of sketched it out with a Sharpie, and then that's what originally, or eventually rather, became my pattern. And what I like using this for is, if I put it underneath my blank here, you can still see the pattern through it, and then I can see where exactly I need to apply the Sol-U-Film in order to have it, you know, not waste it, but still have everything covered that I should have covered. So I have my pattern piece underneath, I have my base on top, and then I'm just going to try this on. I wasn't very neat in my pattern cutting, so there's a bit of overhang on some of these edges here, but again, we'll trim things off and it'll look okay in the end. So just do a quick try on just to make sure that your applique pieces fit together relatively well. And then what you're going to do is just paint this goopy stuff on, and it's really quite straightforward. And you want to be fairly liberal. Don't you know, don't be too stingy because the stuff isn't the best adhesive. The Sol-U-Film by itself is not adhesive at all, so you can't just use it like a fusible interfacing, which is something that really bugged me before, because I really love my double-sided fusible interfacing, but this does not act like that, which is why we have to paint it on, because it can't be used as an adhesive in its sheet form. I really wish that I had cut that better, but I ran out of this fabric, so I couldn't cut another one, unfortunately. So just try and stretch that out a little bit, get the wrinkles out, and then go ahead and position this on there. I think that's satisfactory. There are a couple places where I didn't get very good overlap, but this is a piece of wax paper that I've been using. I found that if you put one side is slightly waxier than the other, if you put the wax side down, it sticks slightly less to your fabric when you're trying to peel it up. So I'm just gonna lightly press and then scooch the paper around so that the wax paper doesn't really soak up water from one particular area and then gets stuck to everything. And you may think this is all pretty straightforward, but believe me, I've been struggling really hard with getting this stuff to work and getting the chiffon to stick to what I actually want it to stick to and not to everything else. So this is easier, or rather this is harder than it looks. It took a lot of trial and error to get to this stage. So you can see now that we've got this pretty flattened out, and most of the it's not soaking wet anymore, so I can go ahead and just use my regular iron and gently just iron that out and continue to evaporate that water. Make sure you don't get any little places that pull up. These little circles like to do that, some of the edges do. And you'll notice here I've got some stuff that didn't quite adhere, so I'm just gonna go in and touch it up. Now blob. And it's okay, you can be sloppy with this stuff because it's water soluble, so it's not gonna be in the final product, so you can definitely have overlap between your edges. And I'm just checking. Yeah, here's another edge. Alright, I think that's good. I'll just iron that all again. See here, it's being a little difficult, so yeah, it's being a little sticky. Boop. Yeah, it was. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this in the video or not, but you can see I got a little bit of residue from the wax paper on my applique, and that's okay. I mean, it's not an ideal situation, but I found out that even if a little residue from the paper gets on it, that will wash out with a little bit of work as well. So don't freak out if that happens. I was ready to scream the first time that happened to me. And parchment paper is even worse about that. Don't use parchment paper, use wax paper for this, because this stuff likes to stick way more to parchment paper. Okay. So it's slightly adhered to the template, but that's okay. You can just peel it off. Once once you've gone over it with the iron several times, it'll just peel right off without any problems. I tried putting some wax paper and parchment paper underneath in place of this, and I found that it was a nightmare. It wrinkled, like the paper would absorb the water underneath and it would wrinkle and adhere to the fabric, and leave like a nasty residue all over it. So it's much better to just use something cloth underneath it, because you can peel it off later and it won't be such big of a deal. But so our final preparation for our applique, I'm going to go and trim these edges up so that they're even, so that I have something that I can just satin stitch down. And once you're done with the satin stitching and you trim everything off, you soak it in water and then you end up with something like that. So that's for you. Hope it helps. Bye-bye.